Florida beggarweed, common broomweed, tartary buckwheat, corn chamomile, shepherd purse. Oh man, that was terrible. I can't read English. Who names these things? Farmers have been dealing with weeds since, well, the beginning of farming. Whether it's Palmer amaranth, pigweed, water hemp, or hundreds of others, farmers know in order to fill up these grain bins, they need to deal with those pesky weeds in order to chase down the next bushel. This growing season, join me as I meet and talk with expert growers, agronomists, researchers, and breeders looking for ways to get more performance from each and every soybean to help you chase down the next bushel.
Drew Underwood, how you doing, sir?
Doing well, Clint Chaffer with Asgrow.
All right, what can I help you with today, Clint?
Just want to stop by and just kind of talk to you about our products and see how they've been working on your farm.
Well, they've been doing pretty good for us, Clint. The soybeans have been looking great this year. We got a good start with it and keeping them clean.
Now, I'd imagine you're probably in the hardest spraying right now, aren't you?
I'd imagine. We're getting that dicamba out, the ExtendFlex, and it's been working great for us.
Well, hey, put me to work, man. What can I help with?
Well, we're about to get the spray rig going. If you want to kind of see how that works, come on over.
Let's do it.
All right. You got your trailer here. Of course, that's transports the water, fill up the spray rig, and go to the field. But if you're here, I kind of need a break. You want to go ahead and fill this one on up?
Well, yeah, let's do this.
We got to suit up first, though.
All right, looks like this is going to be hot. That's what this is going to be.
Especially on a humid day down in the boot hill, it can get pretty warm out here.
All right, where am I starting at, man?
All right, first off, we're going to get the water out of the ground to the trailer. So we're going to need you to go ahead and hook that up.
Well, Drew, this looks heavy, though, man.
Well, you look like you can handle it.
Right here?
Yes, sir, that'll work.
All right.
Okay, and then let's go ahead and hook that on up to the spray rig.
Okay. Do they make anything that's light around here, or is just...
It makes for a long day, I'll tell you that.
All right, I'm opening these.
Yep, open both those up.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. And then at this point, we're going to put in the ExtendFlex herbicide, Roundup and Warrant. Uh-oh, we might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Uh-oh.
That's the boss man right there.
Why are we not spraying?
That's my father.
Oh, I'm Clint Chaffer.
Donnie Underwood.
Donnie, nice to meet you.
This is actually my son, my little boy, little Drew. So
we got 3 generations standing right here.
And you're supposed to be babysitting. Heck, you told me that I was supposed to be working. If not, maybe I should go home. Yeah. So let's go take a look at the field that's been sprayed by it and see how it looks to you.
That'd be great. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet y'all.
Nice meeting you too, little guy.
Yeah.
Kind of fun meeting your old man and meeting Junior there.
He actually turned 3 months old today, so he's been a blessing for us. And then getting to work with Dad like I have, it's been great. He's been at it for probably about 45 years, and this is about my 15th. So I guess I'll be the 6th generation farmer. And you got to take in consideration, the ones that came before you that made it possible. And then of course you got the little man there, and who knows, one day he might want to follow in the footsteps and make it 7. So.
3 months old.
3 months old today, yes, sir.
Now you planned that like right at the front side of planting, man.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough between the 2 o'clock bottles and the 5 o'clock alarm to go to work. But it's all worth it in the end.
You talk about keeping it clean, right, and the weed pressure. I would assume, some of these decisions have to start kind of the season before.
It sure does. Yeah, I told someone this the other day. When that combine leaves the field, the next crop starts that day. It's hard to take off sometimes.
What kind of plan Bs do you got to put into some of this? Because I'd imagine Mother Nature always isn't, kind.
I tell you, when they came out with the ExtendFlex herbicide, it made it to where you had a little bit of leeway. If the rain pops up, you're not able to spray right behind the planter. You don't get a residual down. At least with this, you do have options to take care of the pigweeds that present itself.
All right, so we made it.
Yeah, Clint, out here we got a 160-acre bean field, soybeans, Asgrow. It's a 4-5.
Okay.
We planted these about mid-April, so we're going about 2 months.
Is that normal then?
Yeah, if we can get out here the earlier the better. We always think, you know, we feel like April beans is going to be your best bet to get your most yield out of it. If you see any pigweeds around, they should be dying off pretty good. So I'm sure, hopefully you don't see many, but you always get a few escapes. But that's what the ExtendFlex herbicide is good for. Any escapes you find, you can handle it.
How about we walk out and do a little scouting?
Yeah, no problem.
Well, I tell you what, this looks pretty clean. I did notice right here, was this little pigweed?
Yep, that right there is what we're trying to kill. The first spraying, you're not going to get everything. So the little ones that come out, that's your plan B we were discussing. That right there, the ExtendFlex herbicide is going to take care of that.
That's what's killing that right there.
Yep, that's right.
So tell me a little bit, why are these things so darn hard to kill, and what's the damage they do? You know?
Well, basically with the pigweeds there, you know, if you sit there and you let it get growed up in your field, it's not a space for your soybeans to grow. It's going to choke it out.
So if we let that little guy go bigger, then
he's going to come out to seed. He's going to drop a bunch of more little pigweeds, and then you're going to come back next year in this spot and say, we should have killed it when it was young.
Kind of hard to get the next bushel if we're letting these things grow up.
Especially with the markets at right now, every bushel counts.
Absolutely. Well, Drew, I tell you what, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
We appreciate it.
Awesome meeting you and your family.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully you'll have us back, man.
Hey, come on back anytime. We appreciate you coming.
Are you Matt?
Yes, sir.
I'm in the right spot. Clint Chaffer.
Nice to meet you, Matt Ryan.
Nice to meet you, Matt. What do you do around here?
Well, I'm what they call a field advancement specialist.
Yeah.
So I work with soybean in the South, and I look at the pre-commercial plots and see what kind of germplasm we want to move through to commercial.
Okay. So everything that we're seeing out here, this isn't readily available yet then?
No, this is all new germplasm. This is what we call a late stage pre-commercial test. So we've got about 120 different maturity group 4 soybean lines out here that are up for advancement to become new commercial line.
Well, hey, how about we get out in the field and take a look a little closer?
Absolutely, come on.
All right. So Matt, I've noticed as we walk out here, we got these little gaps in between the rows. What are those all for?
So each of these is a 12-foot plot, 2 rows by 12 foot, and then we've got a 3-foot alley between. And we'll walk down these alleys and take notes throughout the season. We're taking vigor notes today, but I'll come through and do lodging scores and different things like that throughout the season.
120, ExtendFlex, all of them, group 4 to 4.9s. Mm-hmm. And you're basically trying to find the best, highest performing genetics out here.
Especially when you come in with a new trait platform like this, you want to make sure that right out of the gate, you're putting it in established germplasm that's going to have that yield on parity with last generation's traits.
So that's kind of hoping that we don't have any yield drop that they've talked about in the past then, right?
Absolutely. We want to come out right out of the gate on par or better with everything that's already out there.
You said you're taking vigor notes. How about we talk a little bit about that? What are you looking for in a soybean plant?
So when we come out here, especially this early, we're looking at stand. You know, we'll plant a population out here. We want to make sure that we get enough of those seedlings to come back up. We don't want any seedlings that are gonna die out here. So you want to make sure that you've got a good stand. And when those come out of the ground, you want to make sure they're good and vigorous, that they're coming out of the ground, putting on new leaves, and not just standing still.
How many of these locations are you working in then?
I'm responsible for the entire Mid-South and the South and East Coast with my counterparts in breeding. So we'll look at several dozen of these locations.
So at the end of the year, have you had your fulfillment of looking at soybean plants?
Never, no. No, that's that's what you love to do. I love to come out here and see the new varieties, the future of what we're doing out here. It's fulfilling. So
the next question I'd have is on all these ExtendFlex technology soybeans, what are you spraying on them all?
I'll tell you what, I think Garrett's pulling up now. Why don't we talk to him about that?
Sounds good, let's go.
Clint, this is Garrett. He's a TDR in West Tennessee.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. All right, Garrett, are we hopping in here?
Yeah, let's get in here and go look at some plots.
All right, sounds great.
So we're out here looking at one of our tailored solution sites where we evaluate all things Asgrow soybeans, but right here we're evaluating our pre-program and looking at how that looks in an ExtendFlex technology system.
So on ExtendFlex technology, what kind of options do I have if I'm putting that system down?
Well, it's hard to talk about this system and not see the flexibility that's built into it. So we have tolerance to glyphosate, dicamba, and glufosinate. So that gives us 3 post-emergence options that gives us very broad spectrum weed control. And then you put that in combination with a good residual program, and you really have a system that's strong and effective.
Now, you talked about those 3 different modes of action. Are you putting them all down at the same time, or does it matter, what weeds are out there or what kind of time frame it is?
Well, as a vague generality, the modes of action work together in a system. We don't put them out all at once, but when you put them out in synchrony, they do a really good job.
So a lot of different options and a lot of different choices. So I'd like to ask you, Garrett, about this little guy that I see sticking up here. What is this little guy?
So this is actually a Palmer pigweed. This is our main enemy. This weed, we can see just by looking at it, it's about 2 inches tall. That's well within our application window, which is under 4 inches. So the way we would control that is that we'd make an application of ExtendMax herbicide. We would include Roundup and Warrant. So Roundup would help cover some of the others, like the grass weed species, and Warrant would provide more residual control going into the year.
Okay.
And then as the beans get later on in the year, we would follow it up with another application, like I was talking about earlier, of a glufosinate to help to lay them by. And then we're not repeating our modes of action. We're using very good herbicide stewardship, and it's an extremely effective program.
And a lot of this is really in like the whole thought of trying to keep weeds from getting resistant.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of research out there, and it would say that for every mode of action you include per year, you exponentially decrease your likelihood of resistance. So having this one more effective mode of action is a huge benefit to maintaining the stability and the durability of the system that we're looking at here.
Wow. Now, when you're talking about pigweed here, I've heard that that little guy there, farmers around here don't like them. That's what I've been told. How big will that plant get if it goes untouched?
Farmers are not a fan of that. If you leave that there and just let it do its thing, it'll get about 6 feet tall. The base will be about this big around, and it's almost impossible for a guy like me to pull it up. Maybe you lift weights more than me.
No.
And it'll also make about 1 million seeds that you'll be dealing with next year. So it's extremely important to make sure that we keep these weeds from going to seed, and we do it in a fashion that's going to be repeatable year after year.
Well, that's cool. Well, I tell you what, man, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to show me a few things and talk about the Roundup Ready Extend crop system. So
yeah,
thank you for your time. It's probably too much for me to ask to drive, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right, I tried. It's been great getting into the weeds, or should I say, the lack thereof. We've talked to farmers and experts about their weed control system and how they start clean and stay clean. Let me tell you, it's working. Join me next episode as I travel up north to Minnesota to talk about pest and disease, all to chase down the next bushel. Volunteer sunflower, wild sunflower, Russian thistle, velvet leaf, common water hemp, tall water hemp, winged water primrose, wormwood. Do we need to go? Or are we good?